Faking your own death. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Trench Grenade channel, a channel where I get to talk to fake operators about operating. Just kidding. Guys, today we're going to be talking about faking your own death, okay? It happens more often than you might think, and I have the opportunity, I guess, with this platform to talk to you about this phenomenon that happens not only in training but in real life as well. Hopefully, so you guys can take a lesson from this, a lesson from my experiences, and apply it to your own to prevent, hopefully, negligence or issues on your end, okay? My resume, I have to talk about it because it's going to be applicable here today. 12 years, active duty, infantry the entire time, airborne and mech units, okay? Drill sergeant leader. The reason I tell you all that, majority of my career has been spent either entering structures or thinking about how to enter and clear a structure, rooms, buildings, trenches, you name it, okay? And with that, I have experienced a phenomenon of soldiers faking their own death, right? I have trained with armies all over the world, and I've trained with a ton of organizations here in the United States. Ukraine, Romania, Czech Republic, Canadian paratroopers, Latvia, a bunch of others that I'm not French, right? A bunch of others, Marines, National Guard, even though some of the latter is not as great as you might think. But anyway, but with all that, I've seen people faking their own death. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to tell you here in a second, but it's something you need to try to avoid. If you want to support the channel, get down in the description below. You guys already know the deal. Patreon, it's $5 a month. It gets you access to our Discord server. If you want to be in that Discord server and stay up late and talk about all the crazy training or deployment stories, whatever, okay? Stay up late, game with the guys, whatever. That's $5. Check it out down below. As well as Palmetto State Armory. If you need gear and whatever that they might sell, use the link down below. I get a little bit of a kickback and more to follow on that. We're going to be doing a project with a Saber 15, torture testing it here soon to see if it's actually a good product or not. We'll be testing that out later on. Okay, faking your own death. I want you guys to think back if you have served or you were professional law enforcement or something like that. Think back to a time when you did simunition training or real life, and think back to the time when the lead man or somebody in the stack got shot and they just sat down or laid down and said, "Oh, I'm dead," without any OC observer controller telling them that they're dead, or without them being decisively engaged in the eye box, and them deciding that they were dead. Post that comment down below. Guys, the issue we're talking about here today, and we'll just use this as an example. This is a stack of people. We'll say this is the breacher. We'll say that it's been, the fatal funnel has been opened up. The fatal funnel is just simply the doorway. And let's say this dude gets engaged, okay? Or friendly gets engaged, and let's say he stops right here. Well, the problem then, therein lies the issue, is he's blocking entry into the room, okay? And we still have to clear the room and the structure. So here's the deal. A lot of people, when they get hit with either simunition or real bullets, they will fake their own death. What that means is they shrink. They shrink up and they try to get as small as possible, and they think just because they've been shot means they're out of the fight. That could not be further from the truth. That is what we're trying to avoid. Guys, just because you're shot doesn't mean you're out of the fight. Just because you get blown up and you got shrapnel everywhere, you're missing a limb, does not mean you're out of the fight. There's only two people that will determine when you're out of the fight, either you or the enemy. If you decide you're out of the fight, but the fight's not over, the enemy is going to very quickly and decisively make sure that that's actually a reality for you. So herein lies the message of the video. I've seen a ton of people in different armies, active duty infantry, whoever, right? And I actually learned this lesson from an operator. I believe he was, Dutch, right? I was going to say the Netherlands, but Dutch. He was a Dutch operator, and I did the exact same thing. I got shot. My rifle had a malfunction, and I had transitioned to my handgun, and I got shot, right, by simunition rounds. And I faked being dead because I thought, oh, I'm shot, I must be dead, right, for the training value. Incorrect. I think I had to carry a battle buddy on my back to a gong that was like 150 meters away, and I had to hit the dummy gong, right, with a hammer. Dong, dong. I had to hit the dummy gong. And then you have to do some PT and you run back. You get 3 strikes and you're out of the course. And this operator told me, you never fake your own death. Faking your own death is how you actually become dead. If you're shot, that's fine. That's why you wear body armor. That's why you wear a helmet. And that's why you go to the gym. Because you take those rounds, well, hopefully your adrenaline and your physical body, whatever's left of it, is able to carry you through that fight until you're able to have self-aid and buddy aid, okay? So the message of the video, if you find yourself about to be in an engagement, okay, you find yourself in an engagement with the enemy, or you find yourself at, JRTC, NTC, whatever, right? And you're in training, just because you get shot by simunitions or blanks or whatever type of training you're doing does not mean you're dead. Don't ever let training scars affect reality, okay? So just because you're shot does not mean you're out of the fight. You will decide if the fight's over by decisively engaging and destroying the enemy, or they're going to make sure that you are actually dead. And then you never get to go home the way you want to go home. You go home in a coffin with a pretty little flag on it, okay? So hopefully this lesson will keep some of you guys alive. Hopefully you can share this video with somebody that needs to hear the message. If you've ever seen somebody, whether it be in training using some sort of paintball or simunition ammo, or in real life, they got shot and they just decided, they sat down, they crumpled up, they melted, they decided they're shot. They must be out of the fight. They must be dead. Well, that's a bad training scar, okay? It's something we got to work through. It's something that you would inevitably do if you had not heard this message. So try to share this message with a buddy that's like-minded, that's actually trying to get out there and train. And if you're going to do any sort of operational whatever, okay, even if it's just clearing your own house, just because the robber that breaks in shoots you does not mean you're out of the fight. You still have a moral obligation and a duty to defend yourself and your family until that person is eliminated or neutralized and no longer a threat. Okay, guys, I've talked a lot. You guys have sat here through the video. Thanks for being here. Leave a comment down below if you've had any sort of similar experience with somebody dying, okay, during training, or just crumpling, during a firefight. And hopefully people can learn from this message. Thanks for being here. And until next time, this is going to be Trench Grenade, your average YouTube fake gun tuber that your mom said that we have at home. Signing out. Cheers.